welcome to another episode of Love and Black with Tory and Terry. I'm your host, Tory.
And I'm Terry. Welcome. It's Friday night. We made it, y'all. We're here. We made it through the week.
We sure did. We had a good time, too. So my wife been celebrating her birthday all month.
Oh, my God. It's such a wonderful birthday, the outpouring of love. I can take this moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to my family. My husband made it he is my Romeo, he's my king, he's my man of God, he's my sparring partner. No, he's my best friend and just my covering, but really just loved on me and just in the leading of love, with our children and our family. I'm just so very, very grateful. I was really emotional that day. So I just want to say thank you all to the love.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. I didn't know, but just a shout out of love and hugs. Really didn't know the love that just is out there. So thank you guys so very much. Thank you.
Even though we're in November right now, we're still celebrating from October. So those of you like, wait a minute, when was her birthday? I thought her birthday was last month. It was. We still kind of in the mode. So we just want to thank you guys for your outpouring of love.
Love you
and
guys.
Speaking of outpouring of love, guys, we just absolutely love you guys. We have been getting sponsors lately. We have been getting calls. We have been getting emails. And they all say pretty much the same thing, that we're saving marriages. We're helping marriages. We're doing those things that people don't know that they should be doing, and we let them know on our media outlets, our radio and our television show. So we thank you guys for entrusting us with your truths and with the things that you want to hear about. So in leading up to that,
It inspires us. It definitely inspires us.
It definitely inspires
with the content, and we brainstorm like, what can we bring this week? Because we really want to bring you good content. We want to be able to help you in your households, your families. And you can share with a friend. You can help, your neighbors and all, and just pass it along. That's what we're supposed to do.
So the only thing, we're still in the time of COVID, and man, when we started this television show, we had so many ideas that we wanted to do because this is a variety show. It's not just we're lecturing or talking to you. This is actually a variety show. So we're gonna start bringing some more variety. I think it was a little risque variety last week when we had Dr. Angela.
Oh, I know. I love it. But I want to bring you guys stuff like that where it's like, what they got tonight? And, we have our promos too, on our social media handles. And so you're able to see during the week what we got coming up. And so that kind of builds this anticipation. But
Exactly.
the sex doctor, we love her. She's always, she's been on our radio show. She's always so gracious to come on. So
yes, she is.
Yeah, she's one of our coaches in the corner.
One of our coaches in the corner. So thank you, Dr. Angela, and thank you everyone else that we have that, I don't want to say on staff, but on loan to us that are able to help spread this word to you guys. So
you know what? We said Coach's Corner. Maybe it should be club. It is this Coach's Club. We love on them, and I think club is good. Corner sounds like we kind of stuck them in the corner, but club is good. And that's what we have. We have some really good people in our corner, though, in our club. Dr. Jeff also. We're grateful to have those.
And I don't know if you guys can see, but my wife's dress is banging tonight.
Such a pretty dress.
Look at that. You ever seen a blue flower?
Oh my God. So shout out to Puddin's Boutique. And she said, you got to have this dress for your show. So shout out. Thank you, Cindy. Puddin's
Also,
Boutique.
shout out to one of our main sponsors, which is Gracie's Restaurant in Houston, Texas. So we thank you guys. We had celebrated my wife's birthday there. Her birthday night.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love Gracie's. I really, really love Gracie's. It feels like our family because they treat us like family when we go, really and truly.
So I just want to give you guys a shout out to Jonathan, shout out to Jason, shout out to Jose, and shout out to Reed. So we thank you guys for always making our visits there pleasant and nice, and the food is off the chain. So that's Gracie's off of Kirby Road in Houston, Texas. I know we got people from different states that watch us and all, but if you ever come to Houston, feel free to give us a call and we'll give you guys the info on that.
I would like to enlist to other restaurants and in different places so that maybe that's something we as a team can do so we can bless people in their various states.
Exactly.
Where they are.
Exactly.
Towns,
Who else you got for our sponsor?
I got my girl, Bonita Ledette. Bonita Ledette is a unique heart, has a unique heart, And she has Love in a Box. She's one of our sponsors. She is a dear friend, loving friend.
Yes, she is.
She's one of a kind. And the love that she doesn't just love on me, my husband, and not in a crazy, weirded way. But I mean, she just comes and she prays on the dime with us. You know, she genuinely wants to see us succeed and win, just as we want her to too. And my husband and I, we have that. But when you meet somebody else that has it, and people tell us that all the time when they're with us or they see us and just the light and the love. And it's rare that you see that in other people that is very genuine, and she has it. And so when we get it, we're just like, what is it? We're like, what is it? But then when we met her, we saw it on her and it was like, that's it. And it's such a cheerful giver. It's such a loving spirit. And she has a unique heart. And that's the name of her company.
Exactly.
And it's called Love in a Box. And she has this box. And I thought about it today because we have our Love in Black box, but I'm going to bring it also so you can see. But the Love in a Box is all of these treats and all of these goodies to love yourself.
And speaking of boxes, this box here, we told you guys a few weeks ago that my wife created. I don't have a creative bone in my body for this stuff, but she created this box so she can use it as a tool for pulling the names. So again, we do a contest for Gracie's, but we're gonna have several other contests coming up. But this particular one for Gracie's, all you have to do is email us at loveinblack1@gmail.com, and all you have to do is put it either in the subject line or in the body of the letter, why you love Love in Black.
Love in Black.
So this week's winner is
the winner.
Yeah,
the winner this week is Sonia Davis. Sonia and Todd Davis. They are our winners.
All right. Thank you.
Yay!
Yep. So Sonia and Todd will email you guys the information on how to get your gift card and all. So we just thank our audience and we thank you guys for writing in. And again, if you guys have an idea for the show, if you want to be on the show, if you remember, we're a variety show. So if there are things that you want to see, we did the men's panel last month, and people have been asking for a part 2 on the men's panel.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's in the making. It's got to happen.
I know, right? And then our professor, from school, she actually said, hey, I watched that and we need a girls panel.
We need a girls, and we can do it. We can do it. We're going to have, there's so much coming to you. This is the second season, so there's so much coming to you from Love in Black.
And our new set. I know we mentioned it last week, but we love our new set. We
really like it.
love it. So,
really like it. Very comfortable.
We want to thank you. And I just have one more mention. In Houston, once again, I want to shout out to Gary Dante, owner at Suit Mart.
Oh, love him.
We had a great discussion.
We were with him for about an hour and a half or so.
Great guy. If you guys in need of a suit, matter of fact, if you're a big guy like me, you need clothing, Suit Mart. They're all over Houston.
Wonderful.
Check them out.
Tell them we sent you.
Sent you. That's right. Tell them Tory Teri sent you. Hey, tonight we have some of our colleagues on the show that are not only doing what we do, but they give so much that their regular jobs, they're first responders, right? Mm-hmm. Which means in this time of COVID, oh my God, it's bad enough to have one essential worker that you're worried about all the time, your family's worried about. You got 2 in one family. They're both essential workers. They both have to be out there on the front lines. And we wanted to thank them for their contribution to what they're doing in as far as being essential personnel. So many people made a big deal out of what an essential personnel meant. But the thing is nobody's really celebrating them. So we want to celebrate them today. So we have our colleagues in our profession joining us. So we're going to treat them as colleagues, but they're going to tell you about their other profession that they do.
Yeah, they're going to share with you, as well as they're just they're a dynamic couple.
They
have a testimony.
Actually, they went to school with my wife.
Yeah, we went to school together. They have a testimony that is just. Yeah. It just warms your heart, and it's so filled with hope and just beauty and all of the things that are just the Holy Spirit, God.
Yeah. So guys, normally we have celebrity couples on here or a celebrity person. these are our celebrities, our local celebrities.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
celebrating the essential personnel in Houston, Texas.
We
and
celebrate
we
them.
want to
That's the way to
welcome-
say it. We
Yes,
celebrate
that's
them.
right, that's right.
Absolutely.
That's
Cheers,
right. We
babe.
celebrate them.
Yeah.
What's in these cups?
That's
It's 5
another
o'clock
contest.
somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But anyway, you want to introduce them?
I would love to. I would love to. We have coming to you this evening a mighty man of God, a beautiful woman of God. Please welcome, put your hands together for Rodney and my girl, Quavonia, but we call her Q, Chaison.
Hey, guys.
Hey guys.
Hey,
What's up, man?
welcome.
What you say? You
5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay.
I thought I heard her say good
Okay,
morning.
how you doing?
But
How
I
you
know you
guys
guys
doing?
were shift work, so it probably is morning to you.
Oh my God. How you
Yeah.
guys doing?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Good.
We're
good.
blessed. We're great,
We're
man.
glad you're with us.
Yep.
You guys, I mean, it doesn't look like the work. I know that during this time with COVID, it has been really pressing, but it doesn't look like it's worn on you at all. That's just that light that you all have.
Exactly.
It's the grace of God.
That's what it
Exactly.
is. That's what it is.
Yeah. So,
blessing.
you heard our intro for you guys, and I know we already talked to you on camera, but we want to celebrate the fact that, one, you're doing your ministry in your church for marriage couples, and we just love anybody else that, are into families and into building kingdom families and all. And you guys are doing a great job at your church.
Yes.
But, and I don't know how you guys do it, but in addition to that, you're first responders and all. You want to tell our audience about what you guys do? You want to introduce yourself to them?
Kind of tag team.
Yeah, like this. Just
Tag team.
Yep, your turn.
Well, I'm in law enforcement. My wife is a nurse. It is true. Cops do get the nurses. So, what can I say? But yes, we are in the front lines. We're out. We're moving around. So it is one of those things you have to be very, very mindful. To wash your hands, hand sanitizer, social distance, and that's very important.
Yeah. Wow. So
Yeah, just the universal precautions that we've learned. You continue to do what you've always doing, but you're a little bit more vigilant in making sure you are washing your hands, keeping the sanitizer goes quick. Your hands are extremely dry because you're washing so much. Those nerves tend to get, but the universal precautions of ensuring that you are clean and that you're keeping your hands out of your face, and you don't realize how much you touch your face, until something like this is going on. But yeah, absolutely. Universal precautions is what will absolutely keep a family safe and keep you safe.
it's amazing when you can't touch your face, and all of a sudden things on your face that never even bother you start itching you or whatever. I mean, you're scratching your eyebrows. You're trying to get in the crevice of your nose, right? It's like, what's going on? Where did all these little tinglings come from? All of a sudden, I gotta. So, hey, you mentioned dry hands. I don't see people wearing gloves as much anymore. I still see the mask sometimes, but was there a mandate said you can wear a mask but no gloves?
Well, the thing with wearing the gloves, if you're wearing the gloves and you're touching everything and then touching your face, the gloves are contaminated anyway. So it
What's the point?
The gloves that was given the most protection, unless you're doing something where you're coming in contact with wet substances,
Fluids.
it's a matter of preference. But the gloves wasn't as safe, I think, as people thought, because they didn't know the knowledge or have the knowledge of how to use them.
Gotcha.
And they're wearing them all day. I see individuals in the store, they're touching everything. So not only are they coming in contact, but they're taking it and spreading it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Or they'll
Exactly.
have their gloves on and then they wind up, eating something with their gloves on. It's like, hey, that's the purpose. If you're touching everything,
they just forget.
Right. Yeah. You get to the aisle and you get a bag of chips, open it, then you're eating it. So, now your food is contaminated.
Now I open and I
Just
pour.
not knowing the proper way. Just not knowing the proper way and not being taught.
Yeah.
What because
Right.
I realized the logic in that when it first happened. I was like, oh, gloves. Because we bought gloves.
Yeah,
we had our
matter of fact, we
masks.
got boxes of gloves.
We got
now. We weren't able to
boxes of
find
gloves,
any,
surgical
but
gloves.
If you guys are in need of gloves, we're having
Don't do that.
wholesale,
Don't do that. People
a
start
wholesale
writing.
sale.
We don't have that many
gloves.
gloves, okay? Got a couple of boxes. We don't have many. But no, seriously. But realizing that in the sense, I mean, early on, it was like, okay, yeah, no, because I mean, I'd have to keep taking them off because I realized what it was like I would have to keep taking them on and off. So it's like, just using the hand sanitizer is cool, and the washing of the hands totally used to with having kids and everything and cooking and always washing hands. I mean, I'm always washing my hands, dishes, soap, water, or whatever.
Hey, let me ask you this so our audience can find out. So, we know we're in this time of COVID. We know things have changed drastically. We know that our essential personnel are out of the home, but when they come back home, what's the family dynamics like? I mean, it's already, tough when one parent, is an essential worker and has to be gone. But two, how do you guys manage? What's the dynamics of your family? So maybe you can help some of our audience members that are going through these same things.
Yeah, and you guys have little girls. How are you doing this with them?
Well, a lot of education. They're used to it. They've been hearing it, since they entered the world. So it's not a huge change for them because they're used to hearing us teach them about safety and about hygiene and just, keeping themselves safe and clean and of course, washing before each time, having a meal. They're very used to this kind of talk. They hear it from both of us because, both of us are constantly sharing with them and reminding them. So we're a broken record, and their little recorders, they hear it. And then the funny thing is, even if they don't always adhere to it, sometimes I hear them lecturing their friends about what they should do.
Wow.
At least I know that they're
getting
it.
So Q, hold on. So I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we have to say it every show. Hey guys, we're going to be right back. We're going to commercial and we'll be right back with Team Chaison.
Don't go away. Be right back.
We'll be right back to Love in Black after these messages.
Now come test drive the much-anticipated all-new 2021 Cadillac Escalade at Ron Carter Cadillac. And for a limited time, get an unheard-of $19,000 in total savings on new 2020 Escalades, or pages $879 a month with only $1 down, only at Ron Carter Cadillac. Visit us today. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway. Visit RonCarterCadillac.com, Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer.
I'm Attorney Willie Powles. Allow me to express myself with you. If you've been hurt or injured in a car or truck accident, give me a call and we'll get it fixed today.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
And now back to Love in Black with Tory and Teri.
Back, you guys. Listen, we've got team putting the cards down. We've got Team Chaison today with us. We want to bring them back on. You guys there? There they are.
We're here.
Look at them. They're just beautiful. They have a testimony that is so powerful. I know we started off talking about COVID, but we got them here. Everybody's so busy. We don't get to spend a lot of time with those that we love. We've got them here with us. I want them to share because I think they have something that's going to really bless you. I want them to share their testimony. Hey, y'all, tell us a little bit about what you've experienced. We know that you're essential workers. We know you're on the front line. We know you're a mighty man and woman of God. But you guys you've had your challenges and your battles too. It wasn't COVID related, but you were able to work through it. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, we've been married a total of 17 years, but I think maybe around year 10 or so, we started to have some issues to the point where we actually separated.
Wow.
It was very stressful. I mean, when you think about separation, after 10 years, separating bank accounts, we were at different churches. It got really, it was really stressful. Mm-hmm. And the relationship falls on the man. So what I did, I called my wife and I'm like, hey, look, we're going to do counseling. I found a Christian counselors that neither one of us knew, and I think a lot of times, and there's nothing wrong with going through your church, but if it's one of those deals where, you kind of want to be open and honest sometimes it's better to be open and honest with somebody that you don't know. So I found some Christian counselors. My wife and I started going, but more than just going, we started putting in the work that was required.
Wow.
Say that part. That's right.
Yeah. And you know what, Rodney?
So you can go to counseling. Yeah, you can go to counseling, but if you're not willing to do the work, then you're spinning your wheels, right?
And wasting folks' time.
Get out of my head, man. Get out of my head, dude. Hey, look, Rodney.
So we had to learn.
Yeah, you know what? I say that all the time to everyone. So when we do our initial consult, I let them know, hey, because they want to know how many sessions do they need to take to get right. We don't know.
They want the magic formula.
We don't know. But what we do know is you can have 100,000 sessions, and if you don't, like you just said, put in the work. We say roll up your sleeves and put in the work. And when we say that, we mean it. You literally have to do work. We give them homework assignments. We give them, my wife is the love fairy,
I'm the fun fairy.
And she gives them sexual stuff and exciting stuff.
Romantic stuff.
Romantic things to do. So that helps stimulate the marriage and get it back on track. But if you don't do it, and every time when one of our couples kind of backslide, we'll call it backsliding since we know that word from the church. But when they start to kind of digress, and they were doing great, and all of a sudden, they started to go down a little bit. We ask the questions: are you doing this? Are you doing that? And
we can see where the disconnect. We can see when it took place, when
it's
they stopped doing this, when they stopped doing that.
Exactly. And so when they restart that, and then everything's back on again. Life is simple. We people make it hard. Life is simple, though. It truly is.
If you follow it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Yeah. We get excited. You know how us church folk do.
I understand. Yeah. But we did the work. It was really hard at first because, you have, and we know that we're not, fighting against flesh and blood, but when you're looking at that person, sometimes you forget that. Mm-hmm. And so it was really hard to really get going. But once we started, like I said, putting in that work and, forgiving each other and realizing that we're both flawed individuals, that we're trying to make a family and put a family together, make it work. We did the work and we wound up getting back together, that same bank accounts. I mean, it's just trust. And, really and truly, after going through that difficult time, to be honest with you, I really feel like it made us a lot stronger.
Good.
So now anything else that pops up is like, we did that before. We got this now.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that is
solid as a rock.
That is so positive. And again, we have so many, we have people and we hear them all the time, right? The things I've done, God not going to forgive me. I mean, they automatically just think that or whatever. So they think that, I messed up in my marriage. My husband or my wife's not going to forgive me. And they just let it go. You have to fight for what you want. And marriage is hard. It's not easy. And you guys, you know, I don't know if you ever hear us say it on our show, but we say it all the time. Marriage isn't about two perfect people getting together, having fun in fairyland their entire marriage and all. That's a unicorn. We're talking about two imperfect people that think they got it going on, but they don't. And they go through all these issues in their marriage, and then they wonder why. But then they look at each other and they look at their family, and then they say, this is the reason. Let's get it together, you know? So that's what marriage is. Marriage isn't about all the fighting. And we tell couples.
If I may, when you said marriage is hard, marriage isn't hard. Marriage is work. There's a difference.
It's hard work.
There's a difference. No, it's work. It's work. And you have to, just like you're intentional about doing well on your job and, you know, other things outside of your marriage gets your first.
Exactly.
And so you give your first and, you know, you give your all to your marriage, and then everybody gets the rest. So it's not hard. It's just the work. And I don't want people to hear the word hard and think, oh, well, I don't want something that's just going to be too hard. No, it's not pushing a boulder uphill. It's about doing the work. And when you do the work, you have God in it. Then it makes it easy, because then you're operating on a much higher plane, because it's bigger than any of us. Marriage is bigger than anything.
I think you said the key is that as long as, you know, God is the head and he's a God of order, and when the man aligns himself to God, which is exactly where you want him to be and where he should be,
exactly,
and you align yourself under him,
right.
You can't go wrong. You know, we have had so many beautiful people to pour into us to help us to understand the reason, that the purpose for marriage and the roles that we have and the responsibilities that we have to one another. But what we've learned, and what I've learned personally, is that it's not my job to fix my husband. It's not my job to try to, you know, make him and force him or nag him to death to get him to where I want to be. And if I'm frustrated with who he is or where he is, that means I'm frustrated with God's process. So I've learned.
Tell it. You better preach this morning. This evening.
I've learned to be patient, just love him, you know, where he is, and do what I need to do. And the truth of the matter, if I work on myself, it will keep me from being, you know, having so much time to try to get him right. And then also, because I receive so much mercy and grace, you know, it makes it easy to extend that to my spouse, who is my king. You know, a foolish woman tears her home down. I want to build up what I have.
Exactly.
So as much as positive affirmation, of course, you learn each other's love language, and then you just do that, and you continue to consult the Constitution for living. The final thing is the Bible. So that's it. That's where it is.
That's your manual. And you know, you said something so powerful, and that is, it's about knowing your roles. People come together. You got most couples, you know, started so young. And then they got all these years. So of course you're changing. You're not the same person. As well as you have to know your roles and what the word says that you are, who you are to one another, who you are in God's sight. Some people are thinking, okay, here they go with the church service. But when you think about hard, that's why it's hard, because you don't know your role. You don't know what you're doing. It's just like having the answers to the test, and it's studying for the test. The test of life of going forward in life. You want to have all the tools. You want to be equipped. You want to have all the answers that you possibly can, and make sure that you get them in your spirit and your soul, that you're walking them and you're living them, and the favor that can be upon you. So there's blessings in it. Marriage is work, but there's blessings in it, because he's doing a mighty work in you and your mate at the same time simultaneously for legacy and families. But you got to follow it, and you got to make it your business to know it, what your role is. Because, you know, you've got grandparents. A lot of you out there have experienced having a grandparent, maybe a great-grandparent. There's a lineage from that, and you play a role in that too for your family. And so how you're operating in your family, that honor in your marriage, you know, in how you relate to one another, sure, you're going to have hard times. You're going to have hard times. You're going to disagree. You're going to get convicted. And when you get convicted, say you're sorry, such as you all did. Forgiveness. You said that's a key word. Forgiveness. But, you know, it's not a cakewalk, but it certainly can be a walk of faith, a leap of faith, and a trusting that takes you to a whole higher level and dimension in your marriage. And like you said, it made you stronger. He can do it. He can do it. It may bend, but it may not break.
Exactly.
It may be willing to bend, so that the Lord can mold and shape you and pinch you into the way He'd have you to be for His glory. Because again, it's bigger than anything we could ever imagine. This is about God.
Right.
Since we're all counselors here, we're going to call this the Counselors Coaches session.
I know, right?
And we're going to, every time we do our show, we do either a topic of the day or a letter of the day. Today we have a letter, and looking through the letters, it was a similar story to yours, but it wasn't. It was kind of similar, but it wasn't. So what I like to do is read the letter, and then we kind of go in and do our thing and pick it apart and give them some tips and ideas on how to get through this, okay?
This will be good. We can work together.
All right. Dear Tory and Terry, when my husband and I married almost 5 years ago, we had no idea that a pandemic would come along and shake up our world and our marriage even more than it already was. Unfortunately, our first year of marriage was peppered with communication issues and unmet expectations. Remember I said that, communication and unmet expectations. We lived as virtual strangers that constantly argued about any and everything. These disputes led us to separating within our first year of being husband and wife. Fortunately, thanks to marriage counseling, we were able to work through our issues and set our marriage on solid ground. For the past few years, we have still had our ups and downs, but it isn't like the first year. I was a stay-at-home mom. Now he works from home, and it's crowded me and the kids out. Then COVID-19 literally put us back in the same boat we were in at the beginning of our marriage. We thought that our marriage was strong enough to survive, but little did we realize that when we decided after 4 marital counseling sessions to end the counseling because we thought we could take it from there, we were still having issues. Having to be in close proximity 24/7 and spending every waking minute in his world is proven disastrous to me. Now, 6 months into the pandemic, we are still at each other's throats and can't seem to get along. Even though we can now leave the house, we still do not have anywhere to go and to spend our time productively while away from home. To tell the truth, we actually didn't spend that much time together pre-COVID, and it worked for us. He loved that way. We loved it that way. So my question is, how can we live together in harmony and not kill each other in the process? Woo, that's a long letter, and I'm thirsty on that one. But wow, there's so many issues going there. And again, it seems like another situation where communication is the key here, right? There seems to be a lack of communication, or there seems to be communication issues in as far as fighting fair, and as far as listening, and as far as being able to have discussions and not lectures or arguments. So what do you guys think of what she had written here?
It was a lot. You're right.
I was going to say, what do I want to unpack first? Yeah.
And I agree with you about the communication piece. And there are so many different things that I heard in the letter. One thing, and we learned this through counseling and we begin to apply it, is when you are communicating, you're listening so you can understand, not listening so you can respond. And I learned that this is something I was challenged with because I had an answer prior to him even completing what he was saying to me, because I wanted to be right.
Wow.
So learning to listen, to understand and hear what your spouse is truly saying is something that takes work if you're not used to doing that. And then listening to understand what you can do, what they're saying they're needing from you. That's one thing I think that it may be something they could do to help them. Are you really listening to understand what your spouse needs from you?
Yeah, I think one of the big things other than communications I took out of that was expectations. She mentioned it a couple different times. These are her expectations. My thing is, does he know what those expectations are? I mean, so many times we have couples that they say, well, he's not doing this or meeting this, or, I cooked him food or whatever and he didn't even like it, or whatever. I mean, so all these unmet expectations that these people have, but their spouse doesn't even know them. It's just like you're mad at somebody and they're going on with their life, but you are living miserable because they don't even know that you're mad at them, right? So it's the same thing with unmet expectations. Why are you mad about something that you didn't even verbally say? Right? If you want your car washed on Thursday, say it, or whatever it is. I threw little funnies in, but seriously, you have to be able to communicate in your marriage. And also, what drew me in, I'm sorry, babe, the 4 counseling sessions, right? So we know that there are so many layers to uncovering things, and to be honest, the first couple sessions with a couple, it's still discovery. Even though you've done the assessment and started to work on the treatment plan, it's still discussion because there's so much more that they didn't say in the assessment.
Yeah. And I think too, what can help here is that you got to use your imagination. I mean, in marriages, you got to get creative. And that, case in point, why, I am the fun fairy, the love fairy, and, in our sessions for our couples. Yeah, the pandemic, we had to regroup. That was a good time to come together and say, hey, we have been running ragged. We have got to pause for this cause.
Yep.
How are we going to regroup and come out further, faster in the end? Let's put the kids to bed tonight and let's think about it. Are we going to start that business now that we're thinking of? We're going to be able to save some money or, whatever the case may be. Maybe they were out of, maybe one lost a job. Then you start thinking with them, even if it means, hey, I was thinking you could take some online classes. Let's up our skill set, blah, blah, blah. Yep. But there's having this dialogue, even to the point of, how about tonight, put the kids to bed. There's this show I heard about. Let's just binge watch, blah, 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 blah. Together, make some popcorn, cuddle up together. There's different things you can do together, that you put the energy back in, make it fun. Board games. Oh my God, bring the board games back. So, I don't
mean to cut you off, babe, but we got to pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Sorry, you guys. We always get into it. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Love in Black after these messages.
Ron Carter Cadillac, Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, delivers test drives to your home or office, like the new 2020 XT4 Luxury Collection, only $299 a month. The new 2020 XT5 Premium Luxury Collection, $399 a month. Or the first ever 2020 XT6 Premium Luxury Collection, just $499 a month. All for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase and choose 0% APR for 60 months plus $2,000 bonus cash with no payments until March 2021. Visit RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, Attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call Attorney Willie Powles.
And now, back to Love in Black with Tory and Teri.
So we were talking about this letter that we received, and we're trying to pick it apart. We have Team Chaison, our fellow counselors, with us tonight, and we were just
weigh into what they think too.
There's so much in this letter to unpack, and obviously, we don't, we're just a 1 hour show, but there's still some things that we can help them out with. I think the biggest thing is she said children. I don't see any interaction with the father with the children. I think she's upset because now he's at home and she was a stay-at-home mom because she said he's crowding them. So maybe he didn't have an office in his house or apartment or whatever they live in. So maybe he's at the kitchen table or something. So maybe he's in the way.
Well, but imagine how that makes him feel, though. It's like, I am a member of this family. I provide for this family. Yeah. So I think it's about bringing it together, but don't make him feel that, okay, now you're in the way. I mean, this is an opportunity to, you learned what you learned in counseling, apply it.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you can call your counselor anytime. You can call us. Right. But even if you call and just say, hey, I just wanted a copy of some of the things and the exercises we went over or whatever, because there's some things I want to, implement and I just don't recall. But I mean, closed mouths don't get fed.
Exactly.
I mean, open your mouth, speak, tell your husband, talk to him.
Hey, let's see what Team Chaison has to say about this.
Team Chaison, we want to hear from you. I mean, do you guys agree?
I agree.
Very much.
That undivided attention, which we call active listening, where you're not talking to your spouse or you have your spouse talking to you and you're on your phone. You want to sit down uninterrupted, eye to eye, making eye contact, communicating about what's going on, what's not working, and what you can do together to make it work for everyone. Because we want, the spouse to be successful and to continue to be successful ourselves. So that active listening.
You know what?
And also, I think you have to kind of pick your moments when you decide when you're going to discuss those more serious issues. Mm-hmm. And always try to lead off with the good things that they're doing, right? Always. And before you start bringing up, well, you're not doing this or you're not doing that, we don't want you to be accusatory saying, try not to use the word you, but instead say like maybe, well, when this happens, I feel like
exactly. And also, Rodney.
So, try not to bring so many issues to where you're like drinking out of a fire hose. Just pick a little bit at a time.
Right.
Hey, Rodney, I'm glad you said that because there's also times when, I'm reading this letter and there's no quality time being spent.
Exactly.
Right? And when you were just talking about, how you say things, make sure you're not criticizing him because she sounds like she could possibly be criticizing him all day long. If you have something that he doesn't like, don't criticize. It's a complaint. Unless it's a real criticism, then you have to learn how to address it. And you will do that, find that out in counseling. But talk to them like Rodney just said and put it in the front. Hey, when you do this, baby, it really makes me feel angry, or it really makes, say what that emotion is, say what that feeling is, so they will understand and show empathy toward you because, your lack of communication, we already know there's a lack of empathy because they go hand in hand, right? No listening. You're speaking to, as well as speaking to a doll or a table or a chair or something, because, so we tell everybody, hey, listen to what they say, clarify by getting confirmation, and then tell how you feel. So, Q, we say that nearly every day to our clients, and we're like, look, when you have a truth moment, you just, there's no judgment. You're not thinking of anything. You're not thinking of of what you're going to say to them. You're not going to get excited when they say something and say, none of that. You're listening. You're not thinking about the next thing, a rebuttal. You're not doing all that. So I hope this information is getting out to not just the letter writer here, but other people that go through these issues. So speaking of the children, so you guys are, you have girls. And when you're out, you work at the same time or you do shift work? One is home and one is out?
Well, my wife works from home. I'm out and about, and then sometimes I have other little jobs that I work too. So, depending on what week, I may be gone, most of the day.
Okay. So, and as far as spending quality time with each other, because
I was going to ask that. Get out of my head. I was going to ask
because
that.
It's not in the letter at all, and she seems like she wants it. And she seems
everybody
like she wants help with the kids, but she's not saying it. She's not even saying it in the letter. So, how can we even help trying to guess what her unmet or unsaid expectations are?
We need to pull her to the side. Yeah. Like, look, girl, this is what you do.
How do you spend, because you work so much, how do you decompress and spend quality time with each other, and then still have time for family?
Well, for us, like I may call my wife during the day and be like, because sometimes she goes out and I'm like, hey babe, where you at? You want to do lunch? And we'll go do lunch.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Day date.
Yeah.
That's
So
sexy.
just
Call it a day date.
That's
Yeah.
sexy.
And also-
That's sexy. I love it. That's right. Very, very spontaneous.
Yeah.
yeah. But also, my wife told me if I come home and I have a bad attitude, then I got to quit working so much. So. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of changes the dynamics of things. I got to have a good attitude because we need to get this money real quick,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
But
right.
something we learned to do, and we love this, just to include the children because, they're dealing with things as well. We meet together during the night. We have time in the Word. We have time in prayer. And then after that, we spend time together doing whatever, whether it's a Sudoku puzzle. We love Sudoku puzzles, which sounds really nerdy. saying that.
I haven't been able to figure them things out. I don't even try to play it. I didn't even know people still do that.
Binge watching a show or reading. Now we have done more reading because we want to make sure we're equipped so that we can equip and empower. So we're reading chapters together. I just told a friend, I'm like, what's so hot? My husband reads to me. I'm like, I never thought, I have my husband to read to me.
Yes.
I'm like, that's just.
Yes.
Sound like Solomon, man.
Yes. We've been doing that since day one, and it does. It's very intimate. It's very intimate.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Rodney, I said you sound like Solomon.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
even too, I wanted to just add this for those that you may be experiencing this and that do have children. Don't get to the place, you all, where because you're home, there's a disconnect. Where the kids are in their room for hours on end and you're doing what you're doing, and maybe your husband's in the office or he's in his man cave or he's watching TV. Don't get that you're so disconnected that you're this zombie state in the house. Because even with our kids too, I think it's very important right now, the age, whatever age your children are, be very careful and be mindful of cyberbullying and all these different things that can be taking place with the social media that kind of ramps it up more so because it's the way kids spend their time. So you want to just keep your finger on the pulse of every member of your family, but you can try to keep yourselves engaged as much as possible. It's okay to have your alone time, to read a book or take a nap or whatever else, watch your favorite show. But make sure you stay connected within your family.
Yeah.
It's very, very important for your mental health, really, and your emotional health just the same.
Yeah, and the lady in this letter, she's really passive aggressive. She talks about the kids, but what does she want the husband to do? I mean, you have to mention, you have to say it.
Is he even aware? He's probably like, I didn't even know you feel it. Like really.
But she's definitely passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Everything that she says
for
here.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because she's not said about how she's even tried to remediate, or it's like, what have you tried to do to fix it?
She can spill it, but she can't clean it.
Yeah, it's like, so tell us what you've done and that didn't work, so we can look at what would possibly work.
So my tip to her is,
What'd you think?
restart the counseling. All right, you have to you have to get back. You have to get centered again. All right, I would advise her to restart their counseling sessions, but I would advise also that before they do the couples counseling, that they do some individual counseling.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because we don't know what their backstory is. We don't know what their issues are. We don't know what their childhood was like. We don't know what traumas that they're being triggered by. We don't know anything. It's just a letter. So to you, ma'am, get back in counseling. Try to reconnect with your spouse. We ask all the time, every last one of our couples first session, hey, what's your love story? How did you guys get together? How did you get to where you are saying, wow, he's the one or she's the one. So get back to that, right? And I think the third most important one, and my wife and I was saying it earlier about when they're on an incline, all of a sudden they stop doing the work and then they start to fall down. you have to pray together.
Yeah,
You
must.
literally, you have to pray together, and you're not praying, Lord, please fix this woman you gave me. Oh my God!
As much as you want to pray that,
talk to the
don't
snake.
pray that.
She had me bite out of this apple I didn't want to. Lord, don't pray like that. You have to pray for yourself. You have to pray that God makes you better, because again, we teach people how to treat us.
When you want to really bring your best. You want to bring your best for your family. That's where you really show up.
Exactly.
So, you ask where can you improve? I mean, there's so many things I think we need to do to feed our soul. I think that we, of course, in prayer for our mates, our families, ourselves. But even like with this woman, it's like, do you have an outlet?
No,
It's like,
that's why I
what
said,
about like women?
how do you
You mean a
decompress?
book club? Something as simple as a book
Exactly.
club. You know what I mean? But let's look at the purpose
But you know,
of
baby,
your life,
that's
of
why
what
I
that
asked-
looks like, living it out loud.
That's why I asked Rodney, how do they decompress from those days like that? Because you can't just go from work to home and then start working at home. There has to be a moment where you can be by yourself, you can woosah, you can get together with your own mental health and think of those, just like calm yourself down, and then go and start taking over from what your wife was doing.
Well, you
or
transition,
responsible.
from the work day into the home. Let me ask you that. Hey, how do you guys transition? Okay, so Q, you're at home, and so you're working from home. But then, Rodney, when you come home, because with the work that you do, how do you transition into the home of, look at the pink jacket. She looks so pretty. The pinkness of the girls and the softness of dealing with the world, outside the door. How do you transition
Well,
from that?
When I get home, they let me go in my room. They let me change clothes and just kind of sit a minute before the family issues start coming. So I think it's really important to be able to have that little alone time before you just start dealing with the different things that come with having a family. I watch the news.
Don't watch the news.
Sometimes I just kind of sit, and
Don't
then
watch
I come
the
out.
news, man, because that makes you even more agitated and all. Don't watch the news.
Hey, I just take it with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, I look at it. I serve a king, not a president, not a governor, none of that. I serve a king,
Amen.
and he's perfecting everything that concerns me and my family. So, I stay abreast, but I don't let it control me.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. Hey, you know what? I mentioned expectations a lot earlier from her because she has so many. That's one of the things that, as an exercise, sit down with your husband and you guys go over some of your expectations. Hey, I know I'm the man. I'm expected to be the provider. I'm going to work. If you want to work, that's fine. But if you don't, and you want to stay here and watch after our children and be a homemaker, that's fine too. Set those expectations. Hey, I cook. You don't have to cook, or we can alternate cooking, whatever. Set those expectations. And I'm giving some very simple ones, but the simple ones are the ones you start out with, because people just don't realize. I mentioned earlier, I was joking about, he don't like the food I cook. Well, there may be something that he doesn't like, may not like broccoli, right? And you keep giving him broccoli because you like broccoli, right? So speak to each other's love languages. Nobody really does that, but we teach that, to speak to each other's love language, not whatever your love language is and put it on them. So we're at the end of our show. We just want your closing, we always say closing
He
arguments.
always says closing arguments.
Yeah. What are your closing
Totally
arguments?
different fields, but it's okay.
For this couple.
What you thinking?
Well, I think they should maybe incorporate doing more things together. So if it is cooking or going to the grocery store, do it together, because teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
That's
That's
what I'm
right.
saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
And also, for the young lady, making sure she is doing the self-work. And the man as well, but making sure you're doing that self-work so you understand yourself, so you know what your triggers are, what bothers you, and you can communicate that better to your spouse. So that self-work is so important, because it may be little things that's happening causing you to snap or, respond a certain way. So just being aware of yourself and then aligning that, with I'll say this over and over, and it sounds churchy, but you want to see where you are and what the word says, and then adjust. Adjustment.
An adjustment. That's wonderful. And that is the truth. That is a word right there. And I think that happens always because I know that I've experienced that myself. And sometimes you don't know what your trigger is. It's like, oh, there's another one. It's like, who knew? But there are certain ones. So tapping in and being kind to yourself, being gentle in that moment, but being very transparent and being forthright and just humble in the sense that you say, hey, I snapped, I popped, but this is what happens when that happens, and now I realize it, so I want to share it with you so there's a way that we can combat it or just avoid, these type of things so that we're interacting differently, to not, ignite it. There's a way to love on each other. Yeah, that's mine.
That's right.
That's mine. But I wanted to piggyback on that because that's really true. That's true. You're not always aware of your triggers, so you can't always articulate them.
Yeah. So, hey guys, we had an awesome time with you guys. You know what? I never knew we had so much in common because everything you guys are saying or have said during the show, we say the same things. Rodney, when you say you come home, you just need to decompress. What do I mean, I work, with my wife 24/7, but and we're at home.
We all need our time.
When I was out in corporate America, I would tell her, I say, look, all I need is an hour when I get home. I don't care if the phone's sitting on my lap ringing. I'm not going to answer. I just need, just me time. I don't care if I just drove home by myself. I was in traffic, so that's stressful. So you guys, you're saying the same thing we're saying, which is awesome because you're validating everything that we, the four of us know, and to display and translate over to our viewers. So we really hope our viewers got something out of this. And my closing arguments, hey, we're in this pandemic that we never experienced before. And guys, it's not going to end soon. Matter of fact, it'll probably get worse before it gets better. If you're, in a situation, new word now, situationship, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage or whatever, you guys have to start knowing each other before, you really get involved with each other like this, because if you don't take the time to learn each other, to actually communicate with each other, your relationships are always going to be worse than good. So take that advice, see a counselor if you need to, see a mental health counselor in this day and time, because we're stressed and we have different stressors and things. So get the mental health that you need, also get the counseling that you need. And you don't have to be married to take counseling. You can be a couple, you can be engaged, whatever. We have a solution for you. So guys, I thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. It's so good to see you. I'm going to say now, since we've already hit the month of November, happy holidays to you and your family. Stay safe and just blessings. So good to see that you're healthy and happy and that you're doing wonderful things for God's people.
Exactly. We
bless
love
your
you
marriage,
guys.
your family.
Yeah.
Okay, love y'all. Thank you.
Man, speaking of the month of November and holidays, hey guys, we are going to have some family-oriented shows. We're going to be bringing in some celebrity couples, or we're going to be bringing in couples to, we're going to start this holiday thing because we don't know what this holiday is going to look like in COVID-19.
I say we bring them home for the holidays. We're home, everybody's home. We come to you with a segment that is called Home for the Holidays with Love and Black. So have a good week, y'all. We love you. Have a wonderful weekend, and just make love, not war. Continue to work together.
We'll see you guys next Friday night, same time, same channel.
Keep your love in the black. You're going to be positive always. Mwah. Love you.